Venezuela, Caracas. See the man, his eyes weary and hollow, lines etched on his forehead and under his eyes, once symbols of wisdom gained through his years of teaching, now serve as constant reminders of his misdeeds and wrongdoings. He steps out of the dimly lit bathroom and rejoins his wife and son lying on their hotel room bed. Everything he has been through was for them, yet it is an endless darkened twilight where peace is a distant memory. He captures the reunion in a photograph, trapping them in a singular moment, the hope being that the present might become like the memories of their past, of a happier time. But once he lowers the camera and sees the current time and place that he is in, the weight of their ongoing struggles and uncertainties sinks in. They are free, but without freedom. They are now sentenced to a life where they will always be looking over their shoulders in fear. Words pale in comparison to the depth conveyed by his pained and troubled gaze in the final seconds of the film, as he thinks to himself, was it all worth it? The next 3 days. Years earlier, Pittsburgh. Our man's wife is sentenced to a life in prison for murder. He holds on to the glimmer of hope of her repeal. Strain grows as it becomes clearer and clearer that the repeal will not be successful. Questions enter our minds, even if they do not enter the man's. Is she actually innocent? In its wisdom or folly, this question remains at the heart of the story up until the end, where her innocence is revealed. Perhaps the ambiguity should have remained. In a story of realism, this moment breaks the suspension of disbelief, with the filmmakers using a flashback to show us the event. It is unnecessary and does not follow the film's established tone or form. We are shown hours on end of the methodical preparation one must undertake to break out of prison, and not in an over-the-top manner, but in a way that we would deem plausible. Thus, it does not make sense as to why they would try to give the audience a typical, straightforward, happy ending, where all the plot points are wrapped up neatly in a bow. In the case of the original, this would make sense due to its tone and the knowledge we have that the wife is innocent from the get-go. But here, we don't need the false hope of a happy ending. And yet, despite that slight falter, the film is redeemed by the one final look from the man that reminds us that this is not a fantasy. Consider The Graduate. A young couple flees her wedding and prospective husband to be together. They board a bus to nowhere, and as it sputters off, the couple sit side by side, staring dead ahead. Neither say a word as the realization of what they have done settles in. The fairy tale ending they imagined collapses around them with every confused look they receive from their fellow passengers. They aren't in a carriage and they have no home to go back to. They are children, young and directionless, with no true plan of action hereafter. No jobs, no money, and there is nothing romantic about that. Love can't shield them from the harsh realities of life. The glimmer in their eyes fade as the truth of their folly dawns on them, and then nothing. Starting from a conversation with the ex-convict, who has escaped many a prison, the hopelessness in the ending is foreshadowed directly to the man, who is too blinded by love and rage to realize it.
How did you get caught? I gave myself up. I couldn't take wondering when someone was going to come through the bedroom door.
To cast Liam Neeson is to add weight and importance to an otherwise minor character. His single scene in the film becomes pivotal to the entire story as he informs him on the details the man will have to undertake in order to break his wife out of prison. But more than that, it gives an insight into the momentary look he gives in the closing moments of the film. For entertainment purposes, the escape is the climactic point, but for the characters, the real struggle will be what comes after. A lifetime of anguish. Even though the glimpses of his humanity still remain.
The kid, 2 hands.
All of these qualities are squandered due to his obsessive and methodical want to break his wife out of prison. even when it becomes clear that it is something she does not even want herself. It is a selfish want, one that he realizes all too late, and it is a sin he is unable to wash off. And the final look is a look into his darkened soul, one that fear has grasped onto and will never let go of. There might be a resolution to our story, but there is no resolution to their lives. The past is a chain, each link a memory, jerking the present, dragging it backward. It holds on tight, cold and relentless, pressing down, imprisoning the soul. Heavy, unbreakable steel, binding all of one's life together, a constant reminder of what's come before. You must feel its cold embrace and bear endless pain, wanting to go back, yet laughing when more links forge to bind. The taste of freedom forever tainted by those pesky memories, chiseled into the mind with exacting detail like the work of a great sculptor. Following the North Star to reach the summit, he does become the absent father, the criminal, the murderer. This is the duality of man.